Hey everybody, it's Trainers103 here today with another replay analysis. We're looking at a ranked game. This is Wilkett playing in his Amagin in a Northern Lights tier 8 versus 8, 7v7 ranked battle, as I'm sure you guys can tell. Well, let's get this started. Let me just read out the details sent in the email as... okay, there we go. The game probably loads. Rank 14 rank game. I'm a little salty in the chat after a series of bad teams. Bad games, as stated in chat, this was my 17th game this season and 14 where my LNDD is the first one to die. Initially split off from the team as I was alt-tab. Probably shouldn't do that in rank. Now, yes and no. In a game like this where there are battle tips, although of course we have a Charles Baguette, he's the more suited one for making moves. The important thing to keep in mind as... replay. Beta. Game. Dice, please. Dice. There we go. Thank you, Dice. But anyways, the most important thing, in my opinion, in ranked, isn't so much your individual play. That's kind of a thing you can improve on. The biggest important thing is the game of psychology. It is, in my opinion, just as important as the game of individual player skill. Why so? Well, if you start whining in chat or doing something, if you start doing silly things and, you know, you're whining, you're calling people retards and whatnot, people pay attention to this. Salt levels in ranked are high. And you can see people like this, as long as you're not telling people things like blatantly obvious things, as long as you're able to communicate properly with it, you're communicating enough that people know your intention. And you need to make a first impression good. Because these people... a lot of the people here are people that are going to be continuing to play ranked. They are the people who are 49% win rate players. They will continue to be 49% win rate players. But you need these guys to be able to perform like 55%ers to win. So you need to give them the confidence boost by making, you know, when they'll look at the team list and think, alright, let's say for example, you know, no offense, but let's say, oh, this guy did something silly, therefore you have a negative connotation. Or on the other hand, this guy, amazing good play, he carried the game. Massive confidence boost, right? You look in your team, you see Omni, TTT, or, you know, some other good clan, you know, some good player, and then, I don't know, whatever. You think, oh, we've got good players. You know, I'm gonna play my best. Whereas if you see, retard, I hate this guy's just whining, that guy was AFK, and you'll just think, oh, fuck this shit, I'm just gonna go save my star. That's it. That's really it about rank. A lot of this is about this kind of psychology. Now, the team movement overall isn't too bad like this. We do find an enemy Bismarck at this point, splitting off, and there you go. We see in 16 more games, 13 out of DD suicide in the first 3 minutes. Just don't say that. You're not helping the Benson. You're not doing any good for yourself. And this bug is incredibly annoying. Need to do this twice, I guess. But the important thing just to keep in mind is that by annoying yourself, you are subconsciously reducing your own performance as well. On top of that, by subconsciously reducing your own performance and then making it clear to your entire team, you're also not helping the morale of your team. So try to do, you know, always try to keep in mind that you also are if you're 1 out of 7 ships on your team, but you're also 1 out of 7 of your human beings on your team. There you go, I should end this stupid press shift enter binocular view thingy. There you go, we have double fire on us, our deck already, remember we are using fire prevention. You can make a with damage control party. If we're going to decide the damage control party, always damage control earlier. Benson being spotted means that we're not going to find ourselves getting torpedoed at, and the Bismarck now out of secondary range. We decide to use our heal, not too bad of a decision overall here, because we're likely to continue taking shell fire from this guy. Amagin being Amagin, and there you go, armor means that we can tank some shells like that. And the Benson now on the opponent team is spotted on incredibly low HP. We're still taking the cap, the Chapive is also taking the cap. The Hipper now... is also entering the cap. He decides to open fire. It's not a big deal. If we're not spotted by any plane, then he's not going to get spotted by any plane shooting either, which means it's perfectly safe for us to shoot at the Bismarck. We're not going to get ourselves reset. That's the thing to keep in mind. Planes only have 11 kilometers, and there you go. The plane is now in range. And of course, we're going to be spotted, because let's see if we can actually have a look at the numbers. Benson suicides, but hey, sod it. Just get used to it. You're playing ranked. But, like, the air detectability range of this thing, even with a full concealment build, is not that great. So, you know, we're still going to find ourselves getting spotted. There we go. What is it? see, surface detectability 13, air is 10.6. So basically, just consider it to be 11. Ultra makes a bit of a rather aggressive extraction move. He bleeds a lot of health. I personally would have just considered reversing. But at this point, and there we go. We do spot the shells coming out of the smoke screen. We have the Bismarck locked, and there we go. We've unlocked the Bismarck now. You can see that on the fact that we have track selected target turned on. We're considering, do we shoot the Bismarck, do I shoot the smoke screen? And there you go, the smoke screen open fires again. We immediately launch our scouts, playing very good. It gives us higher chances. Well, it gives us a much easier time to shoot into the smoke, but it seems the guy isn't willing to shoot again, which is unfortunate. But there you go, here come the shells. We were slightly not paying attention. But we do snap the shot off. Dispersion looks horrible, but we do actually pick up a Citadel, very good for us. And there's a Destroyer inside of there as well. I would at this point focus the Destroyer. And don't shut the fuck up, man. Just don't do that. You're not helping. Even if the guy is a 40% moron, he will still remember your name. It's more likely, the more you argue with this 40% morons, they're just going to play shittier and shittier with you on the team. And I wouldn't name there, I'd name a little bit more to the right. The guy's moving in the smoke screen. Pippa is committing suicide, but hey, what can you do about it? We do pick up the Benson. Bloody amazing shot there. Dispersion helps, so if we do get 2 hits on him, very, very good shot. And there you go, both teams are now down their Destroyer, so we're actually we're slightly in a disadvantaged situation because the opponent team got the cap before us. However, what matters now is not the Destroyers or the caps anymore. Literally, what matters now is the health advantage that our team has. Who gives a crap about him? It's a hipper. But North Carolina, healthier than their North Carolina. Ottogo, this guy healthier than the Ottogo. Who cares about our cruiser? Okay, that guy's somewhat low HP, but that can be made up. What we need to do now is to kill off the enemy North Carolina, because remember, we are in an Amagin as the enemy North Carolina goes down. Very good shot in the smoke screen as well there. Good job. Fuck, quit this off. Well, you pushed into it, genius. Although the chopper could have considered radaring that, but yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a premium scout plane, so look at that cooldown time, 5.5 bloody minutes. That's going to take a long time. But now we are in a position where we could potentially try to make a flank, try to develop the enemy's team. Not sure if that's our guy or him, but we're not in a collision problem here, so it's no big deal at all. Guess we're just throwing freaking sounds at each other. Should get a soundboard. Boy! You should hear Omni tears during fan battles. But anyways, the enemy Bismarck group is coming back, which is perfectly fine for us because we're playing an Amagi, we can just start kiting away and those guys can achieve a grand total of jack shit against us. Without the Destroyers, we're not going to find ourselves getting torpedoed, so we just need to take advantage of the fact that we're concealment build. This guy may not detect us if we slow down a little bit, but he does, so we're going to open fire on him. Kudasov is up, and he's actually the biggest threat to us as the Ottogo gets taken out by the North Carolina. Good job by him. The Bismarck's not the biggest threat in the world unless he starts making some silly push, because we have a Tupayev that can start doing some good wanking on the enemy health bars. The Charles Bategat is far enough. The Turpus is in a decent position, and the North Carolina is serving as the anchor. So these guys are going to find it incredibly unlikely to be able to push through here. It's good to see that we're not continuing to say stuff in the chat. This is important to keep in mind because anyone that's whining in chat just immediately gets a negative connotation. And if you see the same person repeatedly in chat whining, then, well, they're just bringing themselves a bad reputation to them, and they're going to reduce the capabilities of their team. Same goes for bringing stock ships and, playing poorly in them. Same goes for playing ships with, generally considered to be bad in rank. The Chapayev is taking 5 from this Bismarck. Let's see, he doesn't get blatted for it, so that's good for us. We can rather safely just push through this. The Kutuzov is using another smoke screen, so the more time we spend behind the island preventing the Kutuzov from engaging us, the better it is. The other Bismarck does show up on a rather broadside to us, but we need to focus on engaging this guy. We do get to take a good chunk of his health off, as the Turpus behind does a good amount of damage to him as well, finishing off the target. And it seems this Kutuzov doesn't actually have IFHE, because he did a grand total of jack shit to us from the front. But we just need to see about that. Slightly better salvo. He does have IFHE at this point, so it's just something to consider. We could, at this point, I would have just immediately healed right now, because the earlier you get healed up again, the better it is. The guy's going to continue shooting at us, and someone hits, there you go, we immediately readjust our aim, because the way we're aiming, we need to keep in mind that, let me just slow this down. Kutuzov's, don't know if you memorize this or not, but you just have to, 7.7 kilometer smoke detectability range when firing. The guy can't be shooting at you invisible like that if you were considering where you would try to aim. So we shoot at 8 kilometers, much better range to be trying to shoot at. And there you go, 7.7, he does show up there, we do pick up a hit. So that's good. And, well, considering he just fired his guns inside the smoke screen, he's probably going to find himself under a lot of pressure. Whatever we do not damage control party right now, because Kutuzov still has the potential to engage us with her 8-kilometer torpedo tubes, which can be a rather nasty thing to have showing up. After we damage control party, the guys can angle, but remember 27mm of armor will not stop 41cm shells. So we just need to focus on annihilating this guy. We pick up 4 penetrations up his tail, lol pens right through him. Again, risky move here, turning like this, but we need to engage his Bismarck. We can keep the fires going. And there you go. The guy didn't deserve it. So what? Who gives a shit? So what if he didn't? If he deserved it or not? You get the star. You get closer to rank 1. Who cares about the rest of the team? It does not matter, in my opinion. And there you go. The guy's just being stupid. Just ignore them. And that, in my opinion, is the most important thing. We're slightly poorly angled here, but the Bismarck doesn't seem to know how to shoot us in this kind of a situation. You need to be targeting this area to actually get the penetration damage. He could have actually killed us, but we get away with it, I guess. He's still showing broadside to our 14cm secondaries. Don't worry, that's my team speak. As we engage his broadside again, being within 5 kilometers means that our guns aren't actually as good as they are from 6 kilometers range. Even if we die at this point, which I don't think we are, we're still going to win this, so we do pick up the game. Incredibly good shooting against the Benson. Don't worry, that's just the game crashing. It's Wargaming programming after all. There we go. Pick up 170k damage. 2 Citadels. They were against the... who was it in the smoke again? I don't even remember. We do get a fireproof. We do get our high caliber. No Dreadnought though. We didn't take sufficient amount of damage to acquire that, but a lot of it was burn damage. Good damage control, party control throughout this match. Saving it in case the Kutuzov did decide to torpedo us. Not damage control party, silly fires. Although I felt we could have min-maxed and shot at the opponent team while inside of the cap, because we weren't spotted by plane. 10.6 and 11 kilometers is not a big difference at all. The reason I'm saying this 11 kilometers number is because that is the air acquisition range for any plane. No plane can spot farther than 11 kilometers, so you can have a 500 kilometer air detectability range. It literally doesn't matter. You're going to be spotted from 11 by planes at best. Or at worst. Even. Anyways, we do get the capture, and at the end, once we pick up the enemy Benson, very good smoke shot from us there. Once we pick up that Benson, it meant that the game was, at that point, all going to be about killing, and we had the superior position. We had the superior ships for that, believe it or not. We had North Carolina and Amagin. The enemy team didn't have any of that. Who cares about the secondary hits? Let's see, here we go. Team scores. The Turpus on our team actually manages to beat us in a score, despite us picking up some important kills. In the end, the Turpus, well, he did have one less kill, but he must have done some good damage to the enemy North Carolina and some of their other stuff. But I think he picked up the Takao and probably a good chunk of the Edenlaw as well. The enemy Kutuzov being Kutuzov, incredibly good at star saving, not really good at actually carrying, so he's top scorer on theirs. Our Baguette is actually on the bottom of the team list, but which is kind of a surprise, because the Baguette, in a boundary heavy game like this, the Baguette on the flank can actually do some pretty good work. Hipper, meh, Chapayev actually died in the end, bit unfortunate, but hey, the Chapayev has achieved what was needed. This game was all going to be down to the battleships killing the stuff once we pick up the enemy destroyer. And the North Carolina kill, basically reducing the enemy firepower to Bismarck and Bismarck, and Kutuzov, and killing off the Kutuzov just meant the enemy team was buggered. Having a look at the detail report screen, 27k on the Kutuzov, which is quite nice. Finishing the North Carolina, that was one of our Citadels. 2k on the Benson, 2 hits to pick up the kill, and a little bit of engagement on the Bismarcks, which was honestly rather irrelevant, but yeah. We don't really actually make any major mistakes. Amagin is better in a kiting situation, but versus Bismarck, it literally doesn't matter, because we killed the North Carolina, that was the biggest threat. We stayed closer than 8 kilometers to Kutuzov, so he's going to have a hard time actually hitting us in places where our armor is actually going to be FHE penetrable, because our gun turrets will absorb damage, the torpedo bulge will absorb damage, belts will absorb damage, the conning tower at the front of the ship will also absorb damage, so he kind of needs to aim high on the superstructure or aim back on our aft end deck to actually pick up the damage that he needs. And even on the aft end end area, they are taping 254, 25.4 centimeter belt plates there as well, which will also absorb damage. So just taking full advantage of that. And there you go, at the end, credits and XP, who gives a crap, we're just playing ranked. So, well, at least we're making profit. We do have premiums, so With this, I definitely would suggest you equip the premium scout plane. It definitely can be useful to get a second plane up earlier and to use it throughout the battle. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. Stay salt-free as much as possible in chat, because people will remember your names, and as long as you're... Well, if you have a good clan tag, a named clan tag, basically a clan tag people remember, and you have a... you make a good chat interaction, you tell people helpful things, you suggest to people, Benson, I suggest you go A, team, we should go to A, because our lineup supports it better, you should consider this, please smoke me, thank you for the smoke, do stuff like this, and you meet the same people over the ranked games, especially if you're spamming battles, you're clicking the battle button the moment it ends. These people will remember you, they'll look at the team list and they'll think, oh, hey look, it's that helpful guy. It's that team player guy. I want to support him. I can use my smokes to support this guy because this guy's good. On the other hand, if you start making a lot of mistakes, you're being really, really aggressive in chat, not being too helpful and whatnot, people will think, oh, it's that dick, I don't give a shit, we've lost, we're fucked. No matter how silly this kind of a mindset is, no matter how retarded it is, people have this, you just need to deal with it, you need to work around it as best you can. You're not sucking up to their dicks. You're getting yourself to rank 1 faster and more efficiently, and that is the only thing that matters. All 13 other players be damned. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.